Tim. I am excited for tonight. This is the first ever What Did They Just Watch? I can't wait. I am so excited. I gave you some movies as I posted on my story on Instagram. There are some titles on here that, and one in particular, that means the absolute world to me. So I'm a little nervous, but
I could tell you're a little nervous. Tables are turned.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But I think you're going to like it. And if you don't, I've got a balcony. I am on the 8th floor. So so I'm hoping you like it. Otherwise, I'm out. See ya. But let's go ahead and catch up with the chat. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. I've been looking forward to this. I just finished the last movie before this stream. So it's all fresh.
And we've been chatting today a little bit, not about necessarily the movies, but the funny thing is, I thought I had one movie on there and it wasn't on there, and I rewatched it today, so I didn't get to watch all 10 rewatch, but rest assured, like there's 2 that I didn't get to rewatch this past week, but I watched them in less than a year ago. So I watched them like either a couple months ago or earlier this year, so it's all fresh in my head.
You know them well enough.
Yes, I sure do. Let's go ahead and catch up with the chat. Here we've got Corey saying, sorry, I can't join tonight. His boss scheduled a live stream. You saw that in the chat. He was like, how dare them schedule a meeting when there's a live stream going on.
You're supposed to know our schedule. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, cool kids? The habitual line steppers back. We got Johnny in the chat. What's up, Johnny? Adrian says, hey, kiddos. We've got Joe Martinez in the chat saying, been waiting all day for this to see what Bob recommended for Tim. I was chatting with Joe a little bit as well. Marie says, hi, boys and girls. Interested to see what Tim had to watch. Johnny says, yo, Adrian. Yeah, Marie. I'm totally like, I'm already forgetting that I'm the one who gave him 10 recommendations. Movie Warehouse is in the chat saying, what's up, everyone who's ready to talk some movies? What's up, Nicholas? What's up, Holland? We got Mizzy in the chat saying, good evening, Bob, Tim in chat. Holland Oates says, Ms. We've got Jane Doe Letty in the chat. Hey, everyone. Hope you're all having an amazing day.
I am.
I am actually having a very good day. Thank you, Johnny. Ready for tomorrow. We got Basement Blues in the chat. Tony, what's up? Good evening. Who's one of my favorite people in this entire world. Yeah. We've got Jane Doe Letty saying, Tony. Hello, Mizzy. Basement Blues just saying hi to everybody, as he always does. We got Grant here saying, I am here just in time. What's up, Grant? Magic Hands is in the chat. Basement Blues says number 10.
It's all Dakota Johnson.
It's all Dakota Johnson. Yeah, that would be so funny, Mizzy. Why, did somebody say that? Did I skip?
Yeah, one of them was how many Dakota
Dakota. Yeah, Dakota movies. Well, Johnny said, we're not to say anything about Dakota tonight, or Bob will do horrible things to me on my Hall of Fame stream tomorrow. They did warn him. And if we got Ellie in the chat, she's going to enforce that warning. Hi, Tony. What's up, Tony P? We got Tony P in the chat, Adrian and everybody. I appreciate everybody who is here. If I skipped your chat, I didn't mean to. I do apologize. The Dawn of the Dead 84 is also here saying hi to Tony. So everybody that is here, thank you so much. Tony just says hi to everybody, as always. And like I said, tonight's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead. I guess that's what Tony was saying, because I got number 10 sitting up on the screen there. And the reason why is because I know that I got to be prepared to put the number on the screen, and then I'm going to pull up a picture of it, because one of them I don't own physically, but Ellie actually owns it, the only one I don't own. So are you ready to get started, or you want to sit here and dilly-dally?
I'm ready. I hope you're ready.
Yeah, a couple things. He watched all 10 of these with April, correct?
Yep.
So April also made a list. I do have my prediction right here I texted DM'd April and messaged her that I predicted her ranking as well. So about 20 minutes ago, I messaged her. So I did, and I went back and forth. I think I know April's taste better than yours, but we'll see. We'll see whose list I'm closer with. And then one thing that you had said, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, man, you had messaged me today and you were like, if you want to give me another 10, I'm up for it. Whether it's like live or backstage. That meant a lot, genuinely, because these streams mean a lot to me. I really enjoy doing these. They're my favorite stream personally to do on YouTube as far as my channel goes, because I love watching movies, and especially when you watch something good. And for you to say like, hey, it gave me hope that you enjoyed majority of these lists, and you had a lot of nice things to say. So I really do appreciate that, Tim, a lot. And I'm glad you had fun, hopefully, with this list, but we're going to find out shortly.
Yeah, it's always swing or a miss. I like getting legit recommendations. It feels nice, even if the movie ends up not being my cup of tea. Hey, the person took a chance and thought of me and thought this might work for me. I appreciate that, even if it doesn't.
There's 2 or 3. Number 10, 9, and 8 are the ones I'm like, he might not have liked. Outside of that, I think I'm 7 for 10 on this list, but we'll find out very soon. But I think I'm good on 7. There's 2 that I would have been like, there's one I went to go put on Adam's list, and then when you told me what I put on your list, because it was a while back and I didn't write it down, I was like, shit, I can't put that on Adam's list. I was like, Adam, take it off. There was 2 movies I put on your list that I would have put on Adam's, and I'm thinking Adam might have enjoyed them a little bit more than you did, but at the time I didn't even know I was going to do more of these streams, and so I recommended 10, and I was like, oh crap, maybe some of these were better suited for somebody else. But now I know I got to think really hard because I got so many lists I'm giving to people. And so I don't want to overlap ever. I don't ever want to give the same recommendation to 2 people. That's just not fun.
Yeah.
So, all right. I will put number 10 on the screen, and give me a second to find it when you name it, because I got 10 different pictures pulled up here. But go ahead.
All right, so we are going to start off in 10th place with 10-inch Hero.
Oh, okay. All right. That one hurts a little. Okay. All right. 10-inch Hero. This is 10-inch Hero to anybody who is interested or wondering. I'll leave it up on the screen for a second. That is 10-inch Hero. I'm a little surprised. I actually got my heart beating right now.
You're surprised? All right.
Yeah, I am surprised by that one a little bit.
All right. So 10-inch Hero, what's the nicest way to put? Okay. So this movie feels like if the CW created a movie about a sandwich shop, and instead of doing a season, they just cram the whole season worth into one crummy movie. And that's kind of how this felt. The acting felt stilted, wooden. The sandwich shop, like almost everything takes place around the sandwich shop. And there's 5 people that work in this sandwich shop that almost no one seems to go into. There's 2 regular customers that sit at the booths all the time. Hardly anyone else seems to be coming in this place. They have 5 people on staff. And what's funny is we both watch 911. And 911 focuses on like the core people. But when they walk in the fire departments, you see everyone else. I swear the sandwich shop has nobody else that works there. And they all seem to work the same shift. So who's working the off shifts? Is this place only open when these 5 people could work together? It's so... it felt like a CW movie. It was... I swear to God, we laughed at so much of what was, what's the best way to put it? Crummy acting, crummy editing, crummy everything. I swear, I tried so hard. I like Jensen Ackles a lot. I like Supernatural. I like Clea Duvall. I've always liked her. I kind of laughed at... I always thought Clea Duvall was pretty. She's not the traditional pretty. And she gives off this whole crying speech on how she's not pretty and no one would want her. I'm like, oh my God. But I did get a laugh out of this. I sent this to Derek. The editing with the sound is so crazy where there's this kind of dramatic scene. The music is going and the music cuts just abruptly without a fade or anything when they're outside getting into a car. And I actually filmed it on my phone to send it to Derek because I'm like, holy shit, man, look at this. The editing, it just like stops. I'm like, what is this? Did anyone watch this movie first? So I did not enjoy the characters. I didn't enjoy the story. I didn't enjoy... I know this is a brutal start. I
Hey, look. I appreciate that somebody gets to dream one of my list or a movie I recommended because I've been doing that for nine, essentially almost like 7 or 8 or 9 weeks. So this is a good icebreaker too. So I get used to a couple other people getting the chance to do it. So, and I told you, and I've told Mizzy and I've told Joe, I don't want anybody to hold back. Look, if I could give it, I have to be able to take it. And if I want you to give your honest opinion, and I don't want you to hold back at all. So I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah, I felt bad. I just we April and I are watching this, and so this movie is like what, maybe 10 minutes shy of 2 hours. It's like an hour 50.
Yes, bro.
We paused the movie at, I think it was 45 minutes, it said. And as I'm pausing, I'm like, this thing has to be close to over. And I saw 45 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? Like, what is it felt like it took 10 hours to get through this 2 hour movie.
Danielle Harris looked good in it though.
Uh, uh,
I obviously like this one. For me, what I liked about it was the staff felt like a family. I like that they gave each character a storyline. Obviously, like the characters though. But one quote that I wrote down that I did like in the movie was, "You wouldn't talk to him because you were terrified he was going to judge you on the basis of your looks, yet you're completely comforting to him." I did like that because I think that's true. You remember Clea Duvall's character? She's like,
yeah,
she thinks he's too good for her.
yeah, Jensen gives that when he's mad at
Yeah,
her for
yeah,
leaving the guy
yeah,
at the bar.
exactly. Because you're okay with doing it to him, but yet, you know what I mean. And I like that. I did like that, but
There were
I love this movie. It's one I watched when I was younger. I was trying to find one that you had never heard of. When I put it on there, you had said, "What the hell is 10-inch Hero?" We've got Holland. I think. I mean Tim. Right. Well, Tony says, "Tim, did you get all of your stuff back on the shelves?"
no, not yet.
Not yet. What is that? Never heard of it. See, hey Tim, when is the final list of 70s movies coming? Adrian says.
When the channel is started back up again.
Mizzy says Bob's already crying. 10-inch Hero. What in the world is that? Never heard of it. Joe says never heard of it. But if Bob recommended the film, it's probably depressing or sad as fuck. This is one of the only.
It's not.
This is the one that's not sad on your list.
It's yeah. It's really not. It has some heavy themes, but handled in a CW type of fashion.
Tony says he likes the CW shows. Holland Oates is laughing.
This show would air right after One Tree Hill.
Holland says we're watching a man's heart breaking on a live stream. Tim is cold as ice. Never heard of it. Don't forget to say how many stars you gave it, Tim. Yeah, he's gonna do a 1 out of a 10 for it, right?
Yep.
So go ahead and I want to hear what out of 10 what you would give this. This is a porno list, Holland Oates. No porn on here at all. I do love Clea Duvall, but never heard of this. I figured a lot of people never heard of this one. Tim, you're not making me want to watch this movie. I've seen it. You can pass, Tony. Hold on. Mizzy liked it. Shut up. Mizzy watched this and he liked it. Don't even start with that crap. See, this is the kind of person that Mizzy is. He becomes in chats because he wants to look cool in front of his friends. So he downplays how he really feels about something. Like he might love Taylor Swift, but if other people in the chat didn't, he'll be like, "No, I didn't like it. I don't like Taylor Swift," because he wants to look cool in front of them. We know what Bob liked about it. Apparently, Danielle Harris. Mizzy always cool, always looks cool.
So did you put that or notice though how no one else seems to work at that shop?
No, I mean I get what you're saying about certain movies, because I know we've had this conversation like The Land of Bad and certain things that you just can't look past in a movie. Like, why is this person always there? I guess certain things, I don't know. You know, my buddy used to say when I was in a relationship, it was a bad relationship. He's like, you're seeing through rose-colored glasses. So I don't know. Sometimes I guess you have blinders on when you watch a movie and you don't see necessarily the flaws or mistakes until you point it out. And I get where you're coming from, but I mean, this one really worked for me. I loved the cast in this. And I don't know, in Jensen Ackles t-shirts every single time he was wearing a new t-shirt. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. I like Jensen Ackles.
Yeah.
We went in with some hope. And there was I mean, the score I'm going to give isn't going to make it seem like there was glimmers, but there was the slightest glimmer where, like, when she's finally telling Sean Patrick Flannery's character on he shouldn't be judgmental because she's now lost two Julias essentially. Because for anyone to watch, she's looking
If it's
for.
a spoiler, yeah.
Oh yeah, spoiler. But
here, I'll put it on the screen. Yeah. Okay, spoilers. Go ahead.
But the main girl, had to give up her child for adoption, and at 15, so she finds what seems like the perfect fit that is the child she put up for adoption, and kind of inserts herself into this family's lives, and finds out towards the end that that's not that Julia. So she kind of starts falling in love with this Julia, thinking it's hers, and it's not. So then she thinks she lost both, the child that she gave away that she can't see again, and then this new one. So that's the end of that spoiler, at least.
You hated that?
No, that was the one slight glimmer,
that was the one thing you
but that's literally like a couple of lines of dialogue in 2 hours of pain. So
this chat is so yeah, really hated this one. Bob putting Mizzy on blast. I'm just saying, look, go look at Mizzy's letterbox. He liked this movie, and then Mizzy's out here in the chat saying, "I've seen it. You can pass, Tony." Come on, that's hypocritical. I've got to put him on blast when you do that. You can't say you liked a movie and then in front of other people be like, "No, it's not good." Come on, don't lie.
Okay, so the rating,
1 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 1 because there's no.
Okay.
But
so you hated this one, yeah.
I really, really I really didn't like this one.
Whew, okay. All right. I'm surprised, especially because this is high up on what I thought would be high up on April's list. Sorry, April. I assume April's watching right now.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, sorry, April. I was way off. I'm sorry. This was high up on your list prediction. I meant Tony probably won't like it. Yeah, Tony won't like this, no doubt. Tony P. But yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hey, no, don't you don't need to apologize at the end of the day. That is one thing I will tell somebody. Like, this is a recommendation list, right? I'm going to swing and miss sometimes. I was hoping that this was the one that was like, hey, I'm going to put one that nobody's heard of, and obviously it didn't work out. But this is good to know, because I think you get, like, the whole thing for me is I really pay attention to these streams. So I get to know people's list, and I'm like, okay, if this didn't work, maybe this might or this might not in the future. So I really try to pay attention to that and figure out people's tastes, so I could actually, because I don't want to recommend stuff that I have a buddy, he likes to recommend stuff he knows I'm going to hate, politics or an LGBT movie or a political movie or something like that. And like Portrait of a Fucking Lady on Fire, I hate that damn movie. And he recommended that, and he knew I fucking hate that movie. And Barbie, oh my God, don't even get me started on that. And yet he recommends these, and he's like, you got to watch it. And I do, because I'll watch pretty much anything. And then I do. And I'm like, you knew I would hate that shit. So I try. This was a swing and a miss, though. Okay. All right. Number 10. So here's Ellie. Ellie, number 10 on his list was 10-Inch Hero. She's the one who owns it on DVD. She's the only one on Letterboxd that has seen that movie. And
I'm sorry, Allie.
He fucking hated it. He gave it a 1 star. 1 out of 10, which is a half a star for a half out of 5. He hated this movie, Ellie. It didn't work. Look at all the love for Ellie. Hi, Ellie. Hey, Ellie. What's up, Ellie? All right. Well, okay. That's number 10.
It's only up from here, right?
It is only up from here, and that's okay. This was not like number 1 on your prediction. I don't want to spoil it, but this was not number 1. So I'm a little surprised, because I did think that there was going to be one at number 10, but I there's definitely, like I said, I think 7 out of 10, but now I'm thinking maybe 6 out of 10 were hits for you. So I don't know. Now Bob knows how I felt about Marrowbone. Yeah, 10-Inch Hero is a fun time. Sorry you didn't like it, Tim. That's what I told him. All right. You ready for number 9, or just a second here? Okay, Let me get it up on the screen here. Number 9.
All right. So for number 9, we are going with shitty Fatal Attraction Swimfan.
Fatal Attraction. Nice. Okay, this is number 9. Okay, that's fair. I didn't expect you to love this movie. But yeah, I expected it to be pretty low. So okay, Swimfan.
All right. So, all right, I've said this many times. I think the 2000s as a decade is like one of the worst decades of movies. There's a lot about editing styles and things like that in the 2000s that I just do not date well at all. So if I don't have the nostalgia for it, I I have no nostalgia for Swimfan, so because I didn't see it, I went into it. This is Fatal Attraction with worse acting, worse everything. Besides, I dug the music, which is what gave this the little bit of a bump over 10-inch Hero. This movie is somehow a half hour shorter than 10-inch Hero and still felt equally long. But the fact that I liked the music gave it a slight nod. But the 2000s has this I don't know, quick cut editing style that's very 2000s. Think like Phone Booth had that type of style. Swimfan utilizes that style, and I freaking hate it. I can't stand that editing style, and it's just Swimfan uses it quite a bit. What's the lead character, the actor's name? Jesse Bradford.
Yes, I'm just Howland Oates' comment has me shaking my head. I'm sorry. I'm distracted by the chat here. I like the one song. I think it's by Jet. It's the scene in the hallway when she finds out, like, you know, he cheated and stuff.
Yeah.
That song is like that's my favorite song in the whole movie. I love that song.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
The soundtrack is good. Hence, it got the little bit of a slight bump. This might be, if I watched this in the 2000s as a teenager, I might have dug this. But coming in now, dude, this is just this. I could watch Fatal Attraction, having never saw it, and Fatal Attraction's a damn good movie. This just felt like a
Fatal Attraction's excellent.
Yeah, this just felt like a cheap imitation. Like after finishing, I'm like, I'd rather just watch Fatal Attraction. Essentially, I just
and I think I know where you're going with the list now. This, you know, we'll talk about it at the end where my prediction was for you. But you know, Howland Oates' comment right here, he's like, "Dear God, this is low. Swimfan is low. What is on this list?" Look, we're number 10 and 9. I tried, okay? Howland, shut up. Howland Oates and I have very different tastes, so it is what it is. I put for notes. I put, don't ever put yourself in that situation to begin with. I wrote, temptation is real and seduction is enticing. Avoid those situations altogether. So you see that obviously, but like, you know, obviously he was seduced and everything like that. But that's why you don't he should have never been in a freaking pool with her to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, why?
No, his
girlfriend
was amazing.
I wrote that. His girlfriend was awesome right here. She truly cared and loved him. The letter she wrote saying, "I'm proud of you." Like that to me. So I would like to hear a woman in my life, a girlfriend, if I had, say, "I'm proud of you," like, or stuff like that. Like, it's the little words. It's not big things that mean the world to me. It's the small things. So like to hear a woman in your life, the most important woman in your life, say, "I'm proud of you," or "I care about you," or "I miss you." Like, she did that for him, and it wasn't enough, yet he still went out and cheated. So to me, like, she was perfect. She was amazing. She treated him well. She cared about him. She gave him everything he needed, and she was always there for him. So I wrote, doesn't overstay its welcome. It's short and fast paced. So at least it's, you know, it's quick and nostalgic. And I still love it, but yeah, it has its problems, I wrote. So like, I still love it, but it has its nostalgia for me. I watched this in 2002 or whatever. So
yeah, this is one of the ones I owned, like half this list, and this is one I owned because I intended to watch this. I never had any ill will on the idea of watching this. I wanted to get around to it, so I'm happy I did. I'm happy I crossed it off the list. I won't return to it, but I'm happy I saw it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Like I said, I can handle it. I'm not gonna. These are movies, you know what I mean. For somebody to actually get upset, there's one on this list that will break my heart. But 10-inch Hero on Swimfan or not, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. and yet we haven't gotten to that one. You know which one it is, and it is near and dear to my heart. When people say, okay, I recently saw a post and somebody was talking about music, and they were like, music, like for when people say songs have the power to like change people or inspire people. I'm like, and somebody was like, no, that's not true at all. Like a song cannot change somebody's life or impact them. I'm like,
yeah,
I actually disagree with that. I think movies, for me, I've seen movies in my life that have impacted me greatly. And whether, like, I've heard stories of people in this community alone, they watch a movie and they're like, this is the movie that made me want to do this in my career or something like that. So I do believe that movies have the power to change. And that's why I love doing these streams and talking movies, because there's so many movies I just fall deeply in love with. And one of them is on this list. So
yeah.
yeah. But you done talking about Swimfan? You want to move on?
Yeah, I give Swimfan a 2 because
Okay.
I like the soundtrack.
It's like a 1 star to anybody who goes by stars. Bob didn't ask Tim if he watched the movie, Tony. I'm on your side, Tony. Marrowbone is great. Cody and Emily also like Marrowbone. I really like Swimfan, Joe said. Oh, Tim, I laugh out loud. I do like Swimfan. I saw Swimfan when it first released in theaters. Tony P says Swimfan. Yeah, I know, Holland. I've seen it. It's okay. Interesting. Marie says, I've never seen Swimfan, but I want to. Basically, the CW presents Fatal Attraction. They think you like it, Ellie. Love phone booth. Good evening, everyone. What's up, Jeff? Tony says Swimfan was okay from what I remember, but it's been since 2002 since I watched it. Probably wouldn't hold up the same. Hey, Jeff. I just passed a bunch. What's up, everyone? Bob and Tim. Mel's in the chat. We got Dell in the chat. A lot of that's for Dell. We got Codebreaker here saying, what's up, Holland and Mizzy? Hey, Codebreaker, Hazies. All of a sudden, I hate when it just drops me down.
The connection.
And you miss all these chats. But yeah, it just drops me down. Like I missed this chat here. If you hate the editing style of the 2000s, do not watch the movie Formula 51, Tim. I love that movie, so it hurts me not to recommend it to someone.
Okay,
there's
just something about the 2000s had such a unique editing style that dates it very much so, and I just don't jive with it much.
Ragnar says, like, watching Rocky after you see it, you want somebody's ass. Tony says, has anybody thought of giving Bob a list of just god awful trash, bottom of the barrel Walmart bargain bin shit? I'm thinking about it. That's rough. Don't do that. Like I said, Mel's in the chat saying, what's up, Bob and Tim? Hey, in the chat. Swimfan was awesome movie. That crazy chick is a keeper. That's my buddy. That's my best friend, Chris. That's funny. He's funny. Mel, it's going good. Adam, we got Johnny. Hey, Mel. Hey, Tony. Hey, Mel's there. Mizzy laughing at Codebreaker. Basement, what's up? We've got Z's Gaming and Home Theater channel in the chat. Steve Excelsior Movies is in the chat. Ragnar 666. Mel saying hi to everybody, and Dell saying hi to Mel. Okay, all right. Number 8. Let me get to it. Sorry, I got to go to 2 different folders to do that. So here's number 8. Go ahead.
So before I say anything, just keep in mind, obviously, everything is just whatever I say. It just means I liked the stuff past it a little bit more.
Don't. This better not be. Don't.
Yeah.
Don't. No.
I'm serious.
No,
I'm not even joking. I disconnect in yeah.
Oh my gosh, no, Tim.
So I'm sorry. He's don't jump out the window.
No, Tim, no.
All right, so we went into. I'm sorry. We went into this. Oh
boy.
Thinking they heavily advertised Jason Bateman, but what this movie actually is 3 separate stories told in the style of Crash, the Oscar-winning movie Crash.
Damn it!
I don't like the movie Crash. What I'm going to say,
know after I recently, when you said this is going to be interesting, I was like, it's fucking because he didn't like Disconnect. I was like, he didn't like Crash. He's not going to like Disconnect.
Oh, so here's the thing. A lot of it is the fact that I dislike
Number 8.
I dislike 3 separate stories being told that just, oh, they slightly weave together when the 3 stories. So in the one story, you have a husband and wife whose marriage is kind of on the rocks, who get their money taken from them. You have another one that is a bullying story, which is pretty good. And then you have another one about a reporter trying to cover about like a sex ring with children and stuff. The reporter story, I couldn't possibly care less for. That entire story plot, I don't know what I didn't care. So then it leaves the other 2 stories, and I would have rather a movie that took either one of those stories and made a movie out of that, instead of just giving us what we got. Like, we essentially got 40 some minutes of each story kind of spread around, and I would have rather a whole movie about the family and the bullying, or a whole movie about the relationship between the husband and wife, which I don't feel we got enough of. Honestly, it just kind of throws you into their relationship and then their search for the money. And I wanted more of that, or I wanted more of the bullying story, and I got less of both and a whole bunch of this other story that I honestly didn't care about. I'm sorry.
I'm not doing okay right now. Oh my goodness. No. Okay. All right. I'm
I'm sorry.
No, it's fair. It's your opinion. It's wrong, but it's your Oh my goodness. I once, when I watched this movie, I met this guy at a movie theater, buddy of mine, ended up becoming a good friend. And eventually we started hanging out, and I recommended this movie to him, and we sat down, and after the movie was over, we discussed it for like an hour and a half. I'm not even joking. And he really liked it, but I had like a page of like 50 notes on this movie. And I love this movie. Every time I watch it, I get something new out of it. And I was talking to one of my friends about it, who recommended this movie like 5+ years ago. And I was telling him how every time I watch this movie, I like it more and I get something new out of it. And he's like, that's when you know, like, you love a movie or a movie's really good, is when every time you rewatch a movie, you get something new out of it. And yeah, this is up there. Like, this is like top 5, top 6 favorite movies of all time for me. So this one is this one hurts. I am so curious to see what you know, like, oh my gosh, the how Joe and some people are just like, my list is I'm just like, my ranking right now is thrown out the window because I'm all over the place. I did not. I mean, 10 and 9 aren't surprised, but 8, oh boy.
I'm sorry. So it's the Crash effect, though, man. If it focused on one of those stories, instead you essentially, I got 3 short stories woven together. That's not what I like horror anthologies, but when a movie is trying to be heavy with a message and you're connecting with the characters, I want more substance than what I feel like I got. I wanted to dive more into either one of those stories that I cared about. And like I said, that story about the reporter, I so didn't care about that story.
Okay. I wrote for my notes. I love that the movie starts with a single shot. I was hooked from, like, I'm talking the first 3 seconds of the movie. You get a single shot that follows and tracks a character up the stairs, and then the movie just cuts to Sail AWOL Nation song. And I was hooked from like the first opening second. Before she goes, so you know, the reporter lady, before she goes cam to cam with him, I don't know if you noticed, but she like checks her makeup in the mirror, or her hair she checks. Like, to me, that's something that you're trying to get a case, a story, and yet you're worried about the way you look going cam to cam with him. I don't know if that, like, these are small things. I mean, I break this movie down beyond repair. It is.
I did. This is just me nitpicking too much, but I did kind of get a laugh during that when she's obscuring his face type that interview. I was like, dude, I could watch that and totally know who that is. Like, I didn't feel like he was all that obscured.
Oh, yeah, no, that I do agree. It was not the voice too, and everything like that was not. Yeah, I do agree with that. I like when he's talking to her and he asks her a couple things about. He's like, for $1 million, would you do this? And she's like, no, 2 million, 5 million. And then he says, you see, everybody has their price. I do like that. Because everybody has a price. It might be high, but everybody has a price. Call his wife when he calls his wife to come. Okay. And we're going to talk about this. I'm shocked because there's a movie on this list that I'm going to tie in with this phone call that Skarsgård gets a phone call from his wife, Paula Patton, I believe. But he gets a phone call and his wife is calling him about, well, no, he calls his wife to talk about, did you max out the credit card? Why is the credit card not working? And she's like, I don't know. But she goes, is that what you're calling about? And he's like, yeah. And then he's like, yeah. And he hangs up the phone. And there's another movie. We're going to talk about this. I'm shocked because I thought this would come up after that movie. I literally wrote, it's like in blank because like I thought for sure this would pop up after the other movie, but now I'll tie it in with the other movie when we get there.
Yeah,
but
so
there's a scene that I'm going to tie in with that where you call your wife on the phone or your wife calls you on the phone, okay? And the only thing is to call about, why is the credit card not working? The plumbing's not working. I need you to do this. Come over and do this. It's like, and there's one scene in this and there's one scene in the movie we're going to talk about later where it's like, is that what you're calling about? You didn't call to say, hi, how are you? Like, you just called to tell me that there's a problem with the plumbing, or you want me to come over and fix this issue. That's all you ever call about. You don't ever call to see just how you're doing. It's like that, I think, is a real problem in marriages and relationships today, is like you get on the phone and the only thing you're doing is nitpicking and then you hang up.
So I know the scene you're talking about in the other movie when we get to that, but this one specifically, so this is part of why I wanted more of either of these stories. I was intrigued by the relationship between these two and wanted more because, especially with a major traumatic event, two people process things completely different. And this husband and wife were processing things completely different, but the movie didn't have enough time to dive into any of it besides a quick little glossary of he bottles it up, she doesn't type of thing. And I wanted a little bit more because that call would have meant a little bit more if we got a little bit more subtext before. Like, the movie just throws you into that moment of their relationship pretty quick. I wanted a whole movie of them, or a whole movie of the bully.
The other one, yeah. I wrote, I like when Frank Grillo sends to his son, because this is so true, and we deal with this trolls, right? Like a Dave Durant, and so many more of us, Mizzy, Tony P, myself. You've dealt with it before. You want to fuck with somebody, you do it to their face, tough guy. He says that to his son because it's the internet bullying, it's the online bullying. It's like, that's so true, and I'm a big believer in that. You got something to say to somebody, you want to fuck with them, you go to their face. Don't do it online. If you want to be a tough guy, you go straight to that person's face. I am a big believer in that. You got something to say, you say it to somebody's face. You don't do it behind their back, and you don't do it online. You got something to say, you go to the person. And I can't stand that. And I think this movie was ahead of its time. Very end, I could feel the anger in Jason Bateman at the end, because I talk about that, how when I spew, and so I gotta wait and try and calm down and do it, whether it's backstage or something, or if I'm upset with somebody, I gotta message them. And we've done that. There's been miscommunications, or I've upset you or vice versa, and we go to each other. We don't make a public thing out of it. And that's important. And obviously Jason Bateman, something happened to his son, but when you're angry, you just start, if you remember, he just starts saying like bad, he starts speaking to Frank Grillo's character. And I can see myself being him, though, like just spewing the worst things you could say out of your mouth in a moment of anger. And that's why I really got to be careful to like walk away sometimes, because I am the type to let somebody have it if I am upset.
Yeah.
and then I'll regret it, and it's one of those things I will burn a bridge. And let's say I spewed on Johnny because I got upset about something. He might forgive me, but he'll never forget what I said. You know what I mean? It's one of those things. Walk away before you say something you're going to regret. And he's not going to forget it if you say some really hurtful stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how'd you feel about the slow motion shots at the very end? The 3 different scenes in one. I thought that was mind blowing for me.
Yeah.
No, it didn't work for you?
Yeah.
Oh man. This is a type of movie when the credits rolled, I sat in my seat for about 25 minutes and I was just like, I was blown away. But that's the thing. This film, okay, give me a score. What'd you give it?
5.
5. Okay, so just average 2.5 stars out of 5. Yeah. So this is a film that works for me in every way, shape, and form. I showed it to Mizzy. He gave it 4.5 on Letterboxd. I know he's a big fan of this one, and but yeah, this is a one that like it means a lot to me. Yeah.
I know. That's why I was kind of surprised I didn't like it more.
Yeah.
But
well,
I didn't know what the structure was. Once the structure started unflowing, I'm like, this is not my type of movie.
I'll tell you what, though, if I'm at a 2.5 stars or 5 out of 10 on number 8, I'll take that because that's pretty good so far. That means there's really only, unless I get a bunch more 2.5s or 5s, there's only 3 so far that you disliked. And this wasn't even a dislike, I guess, at 5 out of 10. That's kind of like, it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got to catch up with the chat because we went on that one a while. Ellie says that crazy chick is a keeper. It's like Mark Wahlberg's character in Fear. He's a keeper. Hey, Tony, my wallet is cooling off after vinegar syndrome. Hey, Steve, we got my killer podcast saying, hey, Ellie, Tim, no more stream together, cream together. Tim just murdered Bob's soul with the number 8 movie. Hey, Mel, Tim, where do you find these movies? Bob, it's okay. At least it wasn't number 10. Ding, you're making Bob play hot over here. Tim just KO'd Bob. I do not believe Tim liked any of Bob's recommendations. No accounting for taste. Just LOL, laughing. Never heard of disconnect. What's up, Magic? Hey, Mike, you're killing Bob. Tim. Bob shaking his head. Bob, it looks angry. He's about to Hulk out. Hey, Holland. Bob's face be like, "Rrr." Bob's about to disconnect Tim's jaw. Bob's speechless. Johnny. Hey, Ellie. Greetings, Bob, Tim, and Flick friends. Hey, Steve. What's up, Iron Shack? How are you tonight? Hi, we've got sorry, I passed it right here. We've got Happy Optimist in the chat saying, Timmy and SpongeBob, welcome back to your YouTube realm. Mr. Talkies, we've got Adam saying, sup everyone. It's guy's birthday today, so I'll catch the replay tomorrow at work. Have a good night, everybody. We'll tell Ryan happy birthday. We've got Happy Optimist, lots of highs back and forth. Hey Prince, we got Steve Mares in the chat. Happy Optimist saying Dallas is going to complete the sweep tonight. I can feel it, Bob. Donch for MVP. Thank you. I'm excited. Standing up for yourself is a brave thing to do. It's like a wrestling match, going at it with each other. Tim looks completely disinterested in this movie. Hey, Dale, how we doing? Ross is in the chat saying, I do love both of your collection. My favorite is Screen Factory. Do you have reversible artwork? I do enjoy reversible artwork on my movies.
Yeah, I wish they all had reversible artwork.
And then you would keep your slips if they all came with reversible artworks. I think you said that once before. Yeah. When it has reversible artwork, it's not so bad. All right. You want to keep going? I could talk about this movie for hours. Do you want to trash it anymore?
No, I've killed your soul enough.
Yeah, that was rough. Number 7. Can it get any worse? It can't, I guess, technically. What is number 7? What are you going to rip my heart out with next?
Smashed.
Oh, no. Come on, Tim. Tim, stop. Stop. This isn't right. Come on, man. This is bullshit, man. This is... Tim, no, you're really ripping. This is just, no, you're ripping my heart out today, man. Holy cow. I regret all future live streams of what did they just watch are canceled. Joe, Izzy, Tony next week canceled. All of these are over and done with. I'm done. I can't take any more. Holy cow. Oh my gosh.
So, all right. Smashed. Keep in mind,
Wow.
someone with former past of addiction would take something more from this. This movie is about a woman who is just a blackout drunk that decides she needs to make the change in her life. And one of the things holding her back is her husband, who is also a huge drunk. And the movie just follows her mainly, Mew, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead, uh, and her trying to go to AA, be better, change as a person. Conceptually, I liked it enough. She was good.
Oh, she's not good.
Not
Mary
she,
Elizabeth Winstead was excellent in this movie. I thought she could have
she was,
been deserving of an Oscar in this.
I didn't get that from it. I thought she was good.
Okay, that's fair. I do think she was incredible. There's a scene in particular that is incredible acting. You probably know which scene I'm talking about.
Uh,
Maybe.
I don't know which one you'd go for.
I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
But so I feel there's wasted characters in this. I feel like characters they glossed over, kind of like you have Octavia Spencer in this. You like arguably, I think she's the best actress in the cast, and I kind of felt like she was there. They gave her some lines of dialogue to like, here's your scene, here's your scene. I felt like she was totally wasted. I wanted more Octavia Spencer. I guess I wanted less of. I wasn't into Aaron. What is his name from Breaking Bad?
Aaron Paul. Aaron
Yeah,
Paul.
Aaron. I don't really care about him, and
How about Nick Offerman?
I was fine.
He said some pretty out of left field stuff at one point.
He did. He did. He did.
Yeah, I've been there.
This movie is pretty short, which is one of the reasons that I gave it. Yeah, it's short. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I gave it the leg up over the previous movie. But I just didn't. I've seen better addiction type movies, and this one just wasn't clicking for me. I don't. I think it was fine. I think she was good. I didn't get great out of her, but I thought she was good. I just I guess I finished this movie and I watched A Good Person like I don't know, maybe a few months before, and in my mind I'm just thinking A Good Person was a substantially better addiction movie of a person trying
A
to
Good Person's a masterpiece in my
yeah,
opinion.
A Good Person was fantastic. In my mind was connecting A Good Person and just thinking I would rather rewatch A Good Person. This movie just isn't doing it.
You can watch both, Tim.
Huh?
I said you could watch both.
You can watch both, but when it's covering similar subject matter and the one just does it significantly better.
Yeah, I mean, she struggles with pills, opioids, and A Good Person. But yeah, A Good Person's going to come up eventually on one of these future streams. And if they rip my heart out with that one, it's not going to, I'm done for good on these things.
A Good Person, if I didn't see Good Person,
I would have loved to put that on your list. Yeah.
That would have been up at the top of the list. Like, I thought A Good Person was freaking fantastic. So it's just my mind was connecting, just thinking I'd rather be watching that essentially. I just felt like Octavia Spencer was wasted. I didn't care about Aaron Paul. Like, I don't know.
So do you remember the mother? We only meet her once in the movie, but she's basically like telling her daughter, like, you're not an alcoholic. It's not a big deal. It's no problem. Essentially, addiction is a very genetic thing. Whether you believe that or not, or anybody does out there, like it is, addiction runs in the family. And my dad struggled with it. He hasn't had a drink in 40 years, but he was in his early 20s when he quit. He was, I don't know, a couple of years, 21 through 23 or something. He had a real problem with alcohol. And then when I was 21, 22, I started to drink and had problems. And so I could see I was the same exact age as my dad, but addiction movies like a Smashed, and you'll see a lot of addiction movies come up on people's lists because they are probably my favorite genre because they're super relatable and they hit home for me because I can really relate to the movies and they mean something to me. I mean, most of the movies on this list are very emotional movies, except for 2 of them. So, okay. I also wrote, yeah, I told you Mary Elizabeth Winstead I think deserved an Oscar. When I drank, I became a completely different person. This was a quote she says in the movie. When I drank, I became a completely different person, and that person is a pretty big asshole. And that's how I felt. When I drank, I was the same way. I was fun until it was too many shots deep, and then I'm getting in fights at the bar, and you're waking up the next morning telling your friends sorry, and so those things are relatable for me. I figured okay, so I'm going to put spoilers on the screen here. I'm going to dive into a little spoilers here because I did want to talk about one thing with you. So spoilers, everyone. I figured you'd appreciate the ending because not every movie needs a happy ending or to be wrapped up in a pretty little bow. I think this ending fits the movie really well, and I thought it fits your style of how you like a movie to end, where everything doesn't need to be tied.
I still thought of it as a pretty happy ending. Like she cleaned up. She's moved on. Like I guess the only not happy is okay, she didn't connect back with Aaron Paul, but the not drinking version of her is not the same version as the drinking version of her. So they're incompatible. They don't mesh anymore. And I didn't get the downer ending out of that. Really. I don't know. It was a good ending, but I didn't really get the.
I'm not saying downer. I guess it's not everything's tied up. We don't get an answer to their relationship necessarily. And I know you're not one who needs everything tied up at the end of a movie. I'm going to take.
I was taking it as that's it. I was taking it as just.
Yeah, they're done. They're done. Like she knows that this is not going to work. Like they can't work. I'll take spoilers off here. I like his quote at the end. He says, I would like for a chance to redeem myself. And then the movie ends with that quote. I did like that. But sometimes you don't get that opportunity. Like you said it. They were not compatible. Her drinking versus her sober. And she knew, like, going back to him, she was never going to be able to stay sober. And he was like, I could get sober. And it's like, oh, you got to do it for yourself, really. I mean, ultimately at the end of the day, too. So, okay, I'm going to catch up with the chat here. Tim is smashing Bob's dreams. I'm good, Prince. It can. Holland Oates is laughing. We've got Movie Mike in the chat saying, I'm certain I watched Smash, but I don't remember a second of it. Well, that doesn't sound good, Mike. Anthony says, what's up, y'all? Dell says Bob is legit about to have a heart attack. Beat me to it, Joe. Tim's number one is Marrowbone. Rob Jombi, what's up? I will like all of your picks, Bob. Bob, not gonna do another list with you, Tim. Hey, Anthony. Hi, Marie. Hi, Anthony. I can't concentrate on anything you guys are saying with that gorgeous pumpkin head statue behind Tim.
Yeah, that thing is pretty cool.
That thing is huge, man. Yeah. I saw that in person and it's big. I remember just staring at it. Anthony says, what's up to Holland, Tim, and Johnny? Yo, Anthony, what's up, Jeff? Take my advice, watch Bohemian Rhapsody. That is romantic concert documentary. You got my point. A good person is excellent, Dell says. I agree. Tony, I saw your very positive Letterboxd score for Furiosa, 4 out of 5 stars. I look forward to checking it out.
That's high for Tony.
Tony gives it 4. Yeah, Dell gave that 2.5. Mizzy gave it 4. I gave it 4.5. I really liked it. And then I went home and I watched Fury Road. I've never seen A Good Person. Very emotional movies, Bob suggests. Tim's only emotion is hatred for them. Jeff, can't check out A Good Person. It's on my list now, Adele. Yeah, you're going to hear it come up eventually.
A Good Person is fantastic.
Do you have anything else you wanted to say about Smashed? Do you want to smash it anymore?
No, I give it the same score as Disconnect, a 5 out of 10. It went by quicker. So that's why I give it.
I am so off on this list. I am so off, and I should have known better that the one from 1950s I gave you, of course, it would be high on your list. Oh my gosh, I rewatched the one from 1952, and I was like, I remember it being a lot funnier. I still laughed, but I was like, I don't know like this. Well, I'm off. It's hard to predict. I thought I was going to be right on. I'm so far off on this. Holy cow. Okay. Number 6.
Okay, so
Smash my heart some more.
the next one shocked me because I think I went in with the highest expectations, but it's Sleepers.
Okay, all right.
So
Here's Sleepers. Number 6, Sleepers. Most people probably seen
yeah,
this
probably a
one.
good chunk. I've had this movie in the collection for a while, and I've intended to watch it. I mean, this is a great cast. When you recommended it, I'm like, heck yeah, now's the time to finally watch it. This is a tale of two movies. Uh, for anyone that hasn't seen, and not a spoiler, but like it covers them as the lead characters as kids in the first like 50 minutes, and then the last hour and God, I don't know, hour and a half is them as adults, covering what the subject matter was, which we'll definitely I would definitely want to dive into a spoiler part for it. But I thought the kids section was so substantially better than the section of them as adults that that whole last really like 2/3, I'm like, what the hell, man? This drastically took it down for me. Like it switched to adults, and you got Brad Pitt, you got Jason Patrick. Like I'm like, hell yeah. And as I'm watching, I'm like, I just much preferred the first part because now I want to dive into spoilers. I see Johnny saying it's damn good.
Yeah, Sleepers
So
is damn good. Tim bashes this one. Johnny's gonna put Tim Brain to
all right,
sleep.
here.
Sleepers gives me a break.
have
What about Coma from Scream Factory? Wake Up. I really enjoyed it. Okay, let me get to. You want to go spoilers?
because yeah, I want to talk about this quick.
Okay, so spoilers. Everyone who hasn't seen Sleepers, I'm putting spoilers on the screen. I'll take them off when Tim's done talking spoilers. But spoilers, if you haven't seen this, he's diving into heavy spoilers.
Okay, so since the concept of this is the kids were raped repeatedly in this correctional facility, and they run across the adult versions run across Kevin Bacon's character, and they kill him. The whole movie being about the trial, the whole back half. For my first major problem is in no fucking way do these two deserve to get out. I understand completely that their kill was revenge. These two pricks are murderers regardless. Do you take away Kevin Bacon's? These two have murdered innocent people as stated in the movie. And the whole back half of this movie is about vindicating them and getting them off, which then they can kill more people. And as shown by the end of the movie, they didn't change their ways. They still were gangbangers that probably went on to kill people because they got shot down. They were probably in freaking shootouts. The whole idea that the whole back half of this movie involves getting murderous assholes off of, off possible death row or death sentence, I hated that. Hated it. So that shot it down for me a lot. And then also the fact that Robert De Niro's character is a priest. And I appreciate that they wrestled with the fact that a priest had to decide whether to lie, put his hand on the Bible and lie for them.
How do you get a thumb? In...
What? Oh, I'm just but
no, you put a thumb and the thumb emoji popped up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was.
I didn't see it.
There's literally.
Oh,
I literally
okay.
saw it. Somebody in the chat call it out.
But anyways, yeah. So De Niro wrestles with this, and he creates this fabrication that they went to a basketball game, and that helps get these people off, these assholes off. How did nobody in this entire the jury and everyone else realize these two have never mentioned anything prior about going to a basketball game, and then poof, there's a basketball game. That's where we were. You didn't have an alibi about a basketball game this entire time. And now De Niro brings it up at the end. It's like, oh, yeah, we were totally the night this guy was murdered. We were at a basketball game. And that got them off. Between that bullshit and the fact that those pricks did not deserve to get off. I completely sympathize with what went on with them, and Kevin Bacon's character deserved to die. But the innocent people they talked about that were murdered by them earlier deserve their justice. and those pricks deserve to be in jail. So the entire concept of that movie in the back half, fuck that. But the first half was great.
Okay. I loved Jason Patrick's character. I didn't get a chance to rewatch this when I was going to today until I realized I didn't put one of the movies I mixed up. But I get where you're coming from. I think the movie is dealing with the trauma of being, like you said, sexually abused, molested, and raped by Kevin Bacon's character, and when they're, in the what was that they were at as kids? They were like a facility for because they accidentally killed the man.
Yeah,
so
like juvie.
Yeah, like for kids, yeah, whatever. So, but yeah, I guess I didn't, and this is one I just recently rewatched like the last year, but I would have liked to rewatch it today. Would have been great, and I should have. But I think the movie is dealing with the trauma of what happened. But I get where you're coming from, and I'd be curious to see what some of the people in the chat have to say. Can I take spoilers off, or do you want me to leave it on?
Yeah, well, so real quick, hold on. So I do sympathize. I was actually telling this to April. If these two never killed anybody, these weren't gangbangers or anything like that. They were just in the bar and they see Kevin Bacon's character and they killed him. And that's the extent of their breaking the law, is killing this guy that sexually abused them. I'd be like, yeah, these two should get off. I hope this all works out. But the fact that the movie purposely does lay out that these are bad people before that took away all sympathy of them getting off for me. Like all sympathy. They're murderers, regardless.
Okay. I'm going to take this off the screen. I'm going to catch up with the chat here. Let's see here. Okay. Good evening, everyone. We got Smirk in the chat. Hi, Smirk. Basement Blue says Sleepers is a good one. It's a long movie, though. It is. It's almost 2.5. It's like 2:28. Preach on, Tim Huck says. Basement Blues, how long is Sleepers? 2 hours, 28 minutes, just about. Hey, Huck. 2 hours, 27. Basement Blue says 147. Well, Brad Pitt did kind of throw the case. Johnny
Yeah,
said.
but that doesn't account for the moral implications.
Okay. Holland Oat says only one I've seen so far is Swimfan. All right. What's Johnny watching says when it comes to helping out your childhood friends with whom you have shared trauma, it doesn't matter what they did prior.
Fuck that. I honestly, no, sir, I'm dead serious.
No, this is a conversation. I mean, Johnny's not here for it, but he's in the chat, so that's fair. Go ahead.
You'd have to put like, not to dive into spoilers, but what they did previously negates all of that shit. They are still awful people. I sympathize, and the first 50-some minutes of them as kids, I felt terrible. Them as adults, they had trauma. I felt bad. But that does not excuse what happened. To previous, God, that's hard without spoilers. But if the movie didn't lay that groundwork for those characters, I would have had a different tune. But the movie flat out told us how those people were, so that doesn't justify their previous acts. Only the one single act. That I'm okay with what happened to the one character. I'm okay with that. I think if that's all there was, I'd be happy with the court case. Doesn't negate the rest of their wrongdoings.
Excellent cast, though. Huge cast, too. Like I said, Jason Patrick was somebody I didn't know much about, like, until really the last couple of years. And I realized, I was like, I've seen a lot of movies with this guy when I was younger, but I really like him. He carries the movie for me, and he's probably my favorite character in the movie, Jason Patrick.
He's good. He's really good.
Yeah.
Like I said, if it wasn't for the moral implications on a lot of this, I would have liked this way more. Like, it's well acted. It's a really well-made movie, but I can't get over those thoughts. Like, it just, they didn't.
Joe says I took it because of what happened to them made them what they were in life.
Oh, absolutely. What happened to them absolutely shaped who they were.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't excuse their actions before that incident in the movie.
Yeah,
It doesn't make it okay.
Okay.
It just it explains it, doesn't make it okay. They deserve every second behind bars, every fucking second.
Mike says if you like Jason Patrick, you should watch Narc starring him and Ray Liotta. Yeah, which Arrow Video just put out. Movie Mike says great film. Film addiction. Cody's in the chat. What's up, Bob and Tim? Hope you're all doing very well. Not really, Cody. He's been ruthless tonight. So, what did you give the stars on this? Or
so I get in the way I bashed the second half. It's going to seem weird, but I gave this a 6 out of 10 because that first half is so strong and it's overall well made, well acted. The 4 points that come off is because of just the whole, to me, the moral implications of those characters and that whole alibi part. Those things ding it for me.
All right. Okay. We got 5 movies left to discuss. We're an hour in. This is gonna be the longest stream I've ever done. Okay. All right. You ready for number 5 or no?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Number 5. I wish I would have rewatched this today. It would have been more fresh. Number 5, we've got. Go ahead.
You probably expected this way further down, but Scenic Route.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't expect Scenic Route to be this high at all. I'm pretty surprised by this. I did, and the reason I didn't know how you would feel about Scenic Route is because the ending and also just the whole plot of it, the whole dynamic. So go ahead. What you got to say about this big?
Well, I'm a sucker for set in one location movies, which this is. They're moving around their one location, but it's a one location movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm a sucker for those type of movies. I like small, minimal casts, which this definitely has.
2 characters.
Yeah, 2 characters from almost the whole thing, besides sporadic other characters. Flashback. Yeah, I liked their dynamic. They were idiots. They were absolute idiots and did everything wrong.
I was afraid because I know how you are. You're somebody who really hates stupid characters in movies too, for the most part. So I didn't know how you would feel about this because of that.
Yeah, which is
afraid that you'd be like, I can't look past this. I can't look past it. Some people can't get past how stupid characters can be.
This would have been higher if they weren't such imbeciles. The movie is short, so it kept me captivated the whole time, which is why it is where it is. They're just idiots. That's my honestly biggest complaint. I like the ending.
We're going to dive into that big time and we're going to dive into spoilers on the ending, but there's a lot to break down on the end.
Yeah, but I thought it was a pretty well-made single location movie. Honestly, I'm shocked I liked it as much as I did. I would have liked it so much more if they weren't dumbasses, but I mean, past that, I got great joy out of some of the things that went wrong for them because they're such idiots.
Okay, yeah. Johnny says, damn, been meaning to check Scenic Route out for years, need to get on it. Scenic Route, not a fan, didn't make my shelf, wasn't a fan of the ending. Jane, Johnny, John, Tony, Holland, what is up? Okay, I just recently watched this like 2 days ago. Go ahead, keep going if you got more to say.
Well, it'd have to be spoilers then.
Big time. Okay, I did write down one of the quotes, and I want to talk about this because I write down quotes a lot in movies. They stick with me, right? This isn't a spoiler in the movie, but it's just a quote in the movie. So if you really don't want to hear me talk about the movie, mute the screen for a little bit. I followed my dreams instead of a paycheck when he says to him, when they're kind of arguing, he says, I followed my dreams instead of a paycheck. I was that guy. As a personal trainer and just wanting to go to school and doing DoorDash and Uber at the time, and then trying to go to school to be a personal trainer. And my mom was always like, you need to make more money. I followed my dreams instead of a paycheck. But at the end of the day, you also need to pay your bills too. And I've struggled. I've had struggles in the past and everything like that. So that quote lines up with me. And I know, you were working for what, UPS before this?
FedEx, yeah.
FedEx, yeah. And now you're in a much better company. And I know you're probably a lot happier, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And we'll see how, you know, hopefully get a promotion and stuff like that. But I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about that. Sorry.
Fingers
But
crossed.
but yeah, I really like that quote of "I followed my dreams instead of a paycheck," because I think some people, there's a fine line to that of, yes, follow your dreams, but you still need to pay your bills.
Yeah.
Your dreams versus reality can be hard to line up. Yeah, it's there's a fine line for sure. I'm a collection myself. I do Avengers type of Age of Ultron, Endgame, and Civil War, and No Way Home, and Tobey Maguire, Andrew McGarfield.
I liked a lot of their back and forth. I think Dan Fogler's character was a little bit of a pretentious prick, but I appreciate that he was trying in his best way to look out for his friend, even though he more so just wanted his friend to conform to how he sees the world.
True.
But
Do you remember the conversation in the truck in the evening when flashback? I love that conversation, that whole probably 10 to 15-minute scene with the flashback and everything. That conversation where he's talking about his wife and meeting a girl at the, you know, convention he was at and all that stuff. I love that kind of I was so into that conversation because that's the kind of conversation that, like, they were serious. They weren't found in that scene. There's a lot of some funny moments in the movie and some ridiculous moments, but that conversation was very serious. They were talking about life, and just, that's the kind of conversation I would have, like when I drove to Tennessee with Mizzy. We would have a deep, just real conversation about life, like, and just go into details about certain things in life. And that's where I did with Disconnect, the conversation where, if you remember, he talks about in the flashback, he's like, he was thinking about cheating on his wife at one moment in the movie. This is a flashback, and like a little spoiler, minor spoiler here, but, and he says, he leaves, goes to his room, and he says, "I'm so glad I get a phone call from my wife." And I'm like, and I answer the phone, and I'm like, "I'm so glad to hear from you." And he's so excited to hear from her. And the first thing she says is, "The plumbing needs work, and this needs, I wish you were here," because he says to her on the phone, "I wish I was there." And she says, "I wish you were here too, because the plumbing needs work, and this needs, and all this stuff needs to get done." And then he ends up leaving and goes to, you know, cheat on his wife. But, and I don't agree with that at all under any circumstances, but it's one of those things where it's like, he wanted to talk to his wife in that moment, and she was going to help him out of a tough situation that he had a temptation. And then the first thing she does is start nagging about issues in his real life. And while I don't agree with what he did, I like that conversation because I think it's a real, honest, genuine conversation among two friends.
Yeah.
So, how did you feel about that whole, like, that phone call? Like,
I think,
or that flashback? I mean, I guess
I think if Josh Jamal had a problem, though, he needed to say something to his wife. Part of a
100%.
marriage is open communication, and he didn't have it.
100,000%. Absolutely. I don't agree with cheating, so I don't agree with that outcome of it. But yeah, it is that's where communication comes in. Hey, I always say, for me personally, I think communication is the most important thing in a relationship, because at the end of the day, if you think other things are more important than communication, communication is at the root of everything, in my opinion. Like, if you got a problem, talk to your wife. That, communicate that. If you're not happy with your sex life, communicate that with your wife. If you're not happy with seeing her enough, or you see her too much, or you don't get to spend time with your friends or your kid, communicate that.
Yeah.
Talk.
He built up expectations in his head of what he wanted her to say. All she was doing was, you could look at it as nagging, but she's communicating the everyday things of their life, which husbands and wives do with each other. He wanted something different. He needed to also say something, but instead he sucked it up and decided, what I do next is okay.
And I think men, oftentimes, we're the ones who say women are the ones who never relay what they want. It's always, you know, but in this case, it was him who couldn't tell his wife what he wanted or what he needed. He just, like you said, kind of was like, okay, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
You want to dive into spoilers?
Yeah, let's go into the ending.
So, spoilers, big time spoilers. This ending, if you have not seen this movie and you plan on watching Scenic Route, you seriously need to mute us right now, because the ending is everything for this movie, and it will not be worth watching without knowing. Like, if you know what we're going to talk about, it won't be worth it. So, mute us, seriously.
All right. So, first question I have then: did they get out or no?
That's the first question I have for you. Is, so I love that ending when I watched it up until the last 30 seconds. And I don't even hate it, okay? But that, and I wanted to do a what this movie means to us on my channel. You know how I did with It's a Wonderful Life and everything like that, and Whale. I wanted to do for this, but there's nobody that's seen this fucking movie, so I can't do it. But I wanted to do it because I think we could have a whole 2-hour conversation about the damn ending of this movie. I love that they talk about their dreams earlier in the movie and wanting to do this, and then you see him starting to write his book and he finishes it, and you see him spending time with his kid and his son, and then he falls in love with his wife again and starts to appreciate her the way he wasn't earlier in the movie. And so I love that, because I'm like, you can change, you can follow your dreams, you can achieve what you want to do. But then when he says, do you think we didn't get out? And it's like, yeah, this is a little too good to be true. It's like, so do you think they got out?
No, and I took the when he looked back at the cell phone again and it smashed exactly the same as in the desert. I took it as no. It's all in their head. They're still out there.
I think that they were left out there. That's the way I think. I think we see not a non-reality, another world in where he essentially fantasized it or dreamed it or started to hallucinate it, that this is what would happen, when in reality it's not. And I think it's just too good to be true. I don't think they get out. I think they're stuck there as well. And I think it broke my heart, but I actually like that. And sometimes I wouldn't like that, but I actually love the ending of this movie. I love the last 10 minutes of this movie so much.
So I took it essentially from the second the phone rings out there forward is all just in their mind hallucination. That's how I took it. Because I'm also thinking like they could hardly get cell phone signal anywhere near the road. They're at this abandoned for how many decades type of place in the middle of the desert, and they got signal there. I think from the second that phone rings forward is just hallucination.
It's wild though, watching this movie, that you could, if you do as many stupid things as they do in this movie, like tamper with your car on purpose to get a conversation, you could end up getting stuck. Like, you know, Wes Craven talked about when they went to go make The Hills Have Eyes, the original, in 1977. He talked about how far out they drove into the desert. And he talked about like when they blew up the RV in the movie, he's like, we had no heat.
Yeah.
And he talked about how it's cold in the desert, and like they had to drive for miles and miles and miles to get back to any civilization. And I think of that when watching this movie, like you really could. There's areas, I don't know about as drastic as this movie was, where they only saw 2 cars, but yeah, I think there's real situations where you could end up as fucked as they are if you tamper with your car and then start making stupid decisions like they did.
Yeah, well, I took when I mentioned about them just being idiots. There are stretches that I think are a couple hundred miles from gas station to gas station where you're seeing almost nothing. You go into roads like that prepared. They didn't go in with any preparation. He fucks around with the vehicle. Fuck around, you find out.
Mm-hmm.
He was an idiot.
Yeah, I'm gonna take spoilers off. That okay?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna catch up with the chat here, and we could dive into number 4. So what would you give this as far as the highest score? Got to cut out early tonight. I will catch the rest on replay. Thanks, Dell. Thanks for being here. Not communicating correctly
And I give it a 6 out of 10 as well.
Okay, 6 out of 10. I really thought you'd like this list more. I failed you so far. Jeff says, I've never seen Scenic Route. It's one I just happened to miss. Totally want to watch it now. Adrian says, have a good night, Dell, and have a good one, Dell. Yeah, check this one out, Jeff. I would check it out. It sounds like Tim didn't mind it, but this is like a 3-star, I guess. 6 out of 10 would be 3 stars. So I was, I thought after Disconnect being 2.5, I had hopes, unless number 1 through 4 is high on your list. I feel like I failed you. I'm sorry. We'll see. We'll see if my number 1 is your number 1, because I have a prediction for your number 1. It hasn't been pulled yet, so we'll see. Ready for number 4?
Yep.
Okay,
I
number
am
4
going with Words on Bathroom Walls for number 4.
Okay, fair enough. Words on Bathroom Walls, right here. Number 4. Okay.
So
go ahead, dive.
This is a YA movie about schizophrenia. And I will say right off the bat, the major positive is I really liked how they conveyed schizophrenia. I thought it was really cool. They use actors to play basically the characters that are inside his head that are with him all the time, and then they use like CGI to create this omnipresent evil voice in his head that's like a black cloud. I thought all of that was really well done. I really appreciated them putting kind of a voice and a view to the schizophrenia. I thought that was cool.
I
So
looked up some information about this movie, reviews, and a lot of people, a couple people that struggle with schizophrenia said this movie was really well done. It did not, some movies that depict diseases will not do it right, so to speak. I'm struggling with my words here tonight, but I felt like Words on Bathroom Walls respected those who struggle with schizophrenia.
yeah. Yeah, I thought it handled that stuff really well. My problem comes in, and April liked this way more, is it's very YA. It's a YA movie. It is what it is. But
I don't do abbreviations. I'm too old. What is
yo-
YA?
young adult. It's
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's very young adult, created in that way for the teenage audience more, and it feels a lot like so many other YA movies. Like you can put it with like A Fault in Our Stars and other stuff like that, where I like the message, but it just feels kind of watered down with YA tropes, I guess. I I wish it went a little more serious to the approach of something like a Silver Linings Playbook or a Beautiful Mind type, more aimed at adults, but that's not really what this movie is. This movie was made to cater a little bit more to the teen audience. But like I said, I really appreciated how they conveyed schizophrenia. I liked I liked the father figure in the movie played by Walton Goggins. He's
I love
always
Walter Goggins a
yeah,
ton. He's so good.
yeah, I thought he was great. I like his whole arc in the movie. So there's a lot to like about it. It just felt very YA watered down.
And shout out to Fish. This movie stars Taylor Russell.
Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah. Okay. All right. Number 4. What did you give this though? I need to know like number 4 what.
I gave this one a 6 as well. If it wasn't if it
Ooh,
wasn't
rough on
like the
you
YA
guys.
watered down, it would have been higher.
Yeah, I okay. I gotta do better on your next list. I feel like I was shit tonight on your list. Holy cow. Taylor Russell, yeah. uh okay, I wrote she was nervous and self-conscious about opening up and letting him in. Then you see him with insecurities and nervous about speaking up and letting her in later on in the movie. So it's funny that you see how they both were. Like she didn't want to open up and let him in, didn't want to let him in his house. Essentially, she was ashamed. And then you see him ashamed or nervous or insecure to let her in as to what's going on in his life. And so you see
Yeah.
that both angles. And then there was a quote he says later on in the movie. I love this quote, though. I think it's incredible. I have an illness, but I am not the illness itself. And I think that's so important.
No, I did turn to April though at that moment where I was like, this is where it comes into like it's very YA
Yeah.
happy, because I'm like, all you have to do is have a passionate speech and you can make the demons go away. Because that's essentially like he just starts having a passionate speech and it goes away. I'm like, that's all it takes. What, you don't need pills, just have a passionate speech and you're good.
Mm. I okay, so young adult. Okay, yeah. You see, I don't even know what YA meant. Um, the only abbreviation I know is LOL, laugh out loud. Everything else, I don't know what abbreviations are.
Yeah, it's actually, even though it is an abbreviation, YA is actually like an entire subgenre of books. That's where the stuff comes from.
Okay.
the young adult book section is just the YA books, which is where like A Fault in Our Stars, and I believe this was also a book. Pretty sure it was a book.
Yes, I'm pretty sure you're right. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to say on this one?
No, I mean it was a good movie. 6 out of 10 is not bad. It's average, and it'd be higher if it just
It
wasn't.
wasn't young
I
adult.
wasn't the
Um,
I wasn't the target demographic of it.
the funny thing with this this list I gave you too, the chat's quiet, and the rough part about doing streams like this, I'm picking stuff that are deep cuts. I try to genuinely, but then when you do that, the chat is not as engaging because they don't know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Most people probably haven't seen it, so there's a fine line to that when doing these live streams. But really, at the end of the day, this it's geared for the two of us. I'm with you on abbreviations, Bob. Still spell it out for us special people. Exactly. I don't know these things. Okay, number 3. I feel like I don't need to put the darn number on there, but I'll keep doing it. Number 3. What do we got left? I cannot believe the one from 1952. I believe is really hasn't been pulled yet.
Well, that's next.
That's
now.
number 3.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
Monkey Business.
why are you surprised exactly that this was this high?
I rewatched it and it's overly freaking silly. So I didn't know how it is extremely silly. So I didn't know if it was going to be too stupid for you.
No, man. 50. I love 50s movies, and I love silly 50s. It puts a smile on my face. This movie did exactly what it set out for. Ginger Rogers was adorable.
Ginger Rogers is incredible in that. She is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. I loved her. I love Marilyn Monroe. I mean, I got multiple Marilyn Monroe statues. She's adorable in it. I always love Cary Grant. Cary Grant is always a blast on screen. Like this movie.
I just love when Ginger Rogers like taps her on the shoulder and Marilyn Monroe is like scared of her. She's like, she's scared of me. But I watched this 4.5 years ago, because a buddy of mine who loves recommending stuff anywhere from like 1960s before to me. I watched this, and this was one of the funniest movies. After it, once again, like I had talked about a couple hours ago, moods, right? Maybe I just wasn't in the right mood to rewatch this at the time, because I gave this 3.5 stars upon a rewatch. When I watched it years ago, this was like 5-star type of comedy for me. I was laughing my ass off. I still laughed a ton, but I was like, why did I think this was so funny 4 years ago? It was still hilarious, but it was not as funny. But once again, maybe mood. Maybe I wasn't in the mood to watch a black and white 2 movie at the time. But I guess I just need to give you all 1950s.
This movie put a smile on my face, man. I enjoyed it a lot. My score is just representative just because I like other movies from these actors more. But like I had a blast, and I will buy this movie for sure.
You bought it on DVD. You own it.
Oh, I did buy this. I bought.
You have it.
I rented this on iTunes. I forgot I picked it up.
You bought it in the archive in Vinegar Syndrome store in the archive.
April, why didn't you tell me? She's watching. I did buy it. All right, I don't need to buy it.
Yeah, you bought this on DVD. Yeah, I don't even own this movie, so yep, you found this right away. There was like as soon as you walked in, you grabbed this special.
You should have known though that this would be high up for me.
I didn't know because I don't know how silly, you know what I mean? Like that was the question, because it's a very silly concept. It is,
but that's kind of I have different expectations and wants out of the 30s, 40s, 50s than I do out of now, if that makes any sense.
No, I understand. The chat's quiet because no one has seen these, and if they don't want to chat spoilers, Jeff says I've not seen a bit of these movies. I need to catch up. Iron Check says I haven't seen a lot of these movies, but we'll check them out. Same thing Jeff said, basically. Yep. So Iron Check and Jeff similar tonight. Jane Doe Letty says one I've seen. Yay. I'm a big Howard Hawks fan, and Howard Hawks directed this. He also directed the original Scarface from 1932. Yeah. Helen says Tim goofed.
I did.
I already did buy it. I added disconnect to my cart. Yay! Thank you, Nicholas. I hope you like it more than Tim did. So monkey business. What'd you give it then?
An 8.
8. Oh wow. Okay. All right, at least number 2 and 1 are going to be high. That's good. They're going to be high scores. Yay! I won on 2. I won on 3 tonight. I'm happy. I'm happy. Good. Good. This is why we start with the freaking low ones first. We never start with the high ones. I can't imagine if we did that. You don't want to end on a sour taste. I've seen 2, one being Swimfan. Okay, all right, okay. In the last 2, I'm happy. The last 2, I'm happy. Sorry, Bob. Okay, all right. Monkey Business. Yes. What did I write here? I liked it. I thought this movie was funny. Like I said, it's just hilarious to me when they're driving the car. I love that. Okay, I wrote not nearly as funny as I remember, but still really funny. I still had plenty of laughs, but not like I remember. Cary Grant is excellent. Ginger Rogers is hilarious. Still a very fun movie. I do believe when we see a movie, you're just at the right moment makes a difference. I wrote. So when you watch the movie, still enjoyable and funny, and it's a lot of fun. But damn, I remember this was like the funniest damn thing I watched 4 years ago, and I wanted to recommend 50s movie to you. So I was hoping you would like this one.
Yeah,
so I'm glad you did.
50s connect with me.
His ranking is mirroring my list to Bob, sort of, yeah. And yeah, okay. You want to keep talking about this one, or you want to move on?
There's not really a whole lot to say. This movie is nothing special on plot. It's just fun. I mean, the entire plot is just trying to develop a serum or whatever to make people younger again. I mean, that's all it is. And then just hijinks ensue. It's a fun movie.
Yeah, a monkey or a chimpanzee or whatever, he changes the serums.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty funny. I like this one a lot. I remember having fun with it. So, put yourself in the 50s too when you watch it. It's black and white, just a heads up to everybody out there. Make sure to hit that like button, everyone. And when I watched this movie, like I've seen like 4 black and white movies now in the last like 3 weeks. So I've really been on a black and white kick, I guess, sort of. I don't mind black and white movies or old movies. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I put a 50s movie on your list,
Yeah.
Okay, you want to dive into number 2?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Just says make sure to hit that like button, everyone. Okay, number 2, we have got 2 options left. I'm happy with either one. I'm slightly surprised, not surprised. Let's see if I get your number 1 right. Go.
Sound of Metal 2.
Oh, shoot. Sound of Metal was my number 1. Oh, darn. Okay. All right, everyone. Sound of Metal, Criterion Collection title. Okay, go ahead.
So, Sound of Metal is an expertly crafted movie about a drummer losing his hearing, and it is done so well. The sound design in this movie is insane. I'm pretty sure they won the sound Oscar for it, and it was so well deserved. I mean, this movie put you in his perspective of what he's hearing, and it's so well done. Riz Ahmed's performance is outstanding. Like
how about that ending, Tim?
I loved the ending.
Good. So good. Good.
Honestly, this is a movie where I have almost no complaints, and the one complaint I have is a me thing. It's not a problem of the movie. I was really liking that center chunk at the deaf community, and it just kind of
moved on. It moved on, yeah.
And I wanted more, and I didn't get that closure.
The actress that's really deaf in real life, she plays she's in The Walking Dead. And she was in the Eternals. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. I love her to death. I really do. Do you know who I'm talking about? She's the teacher. She's the teacher.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, she's really deaf in real life, and she's a character in The Walking Dead. And yeah, Sound of Metal, dude. When I watched this movie. So did you watch it on Amazon or Criterion?
The Criterion.
Okay, so Amazon, here's an interesting little tidbit about Sound of Metal. The Blu-ray from Criterion doesn't. One thing I like about this movie, and I'm going to dive into minor spoilers here. It's not really a deep spoiler. I won't put it on the screen, but just know that I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff in the movie. You notice how that when he's trying to learn sign language, they don't put subtitles on.
Yeah, I liked that a lot.
Love that because we feel his frustration. What the hell are they saying?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. Okay. I
I
paused the movie. Amazon shows subtitles earlier than the Blu-ray from Sound of Metal from the Criterion does. There's two scenes in the movie. About 5 minutes earlier, Amazon has subtitles on the screen, Amazon Prime, than Sound of Metal. I think Criterion should have done opinion. They screwed that up because there's supposed to be subtitles earlier in the movie, don't have it. Not super early, but there's two scenes that are missing subtitles that Amazon Prime has that are supposed to have subtitles. So Criterion didn't get subtitles on the screen when they were supposed to. It's a
so
little bit too it's a little bit later in the movie.
and here's something I screwed up with when I'm definitely in it. This is a movie I'm going to rewatch, but the movie started with the subtitles, and at first, when I popped in the Criterion, and at first I was like, okay, this is just her singing, and they want us to know what they're saying because it's very loud around. And then the subtitles kept going, and you have those descriptive audio things. I'm like, that's weird because I don't normally watch with subtitles.
So you had closed captions on?
No, it was the subtitles on the disc were on, but I found out, I read IMDb though, that the it was actually purposely set to be with subtitles on because that's actually it was shown at film festivals with subtitles the whole movie. They wanted the creators actually wanted you to watch it with subtitles fully.
Interesting, because I really like being frustrated as a viewer, not like he is, not knowing what the hell they're saying. You could see the frustration. He's just like, what are they saying? And so
Yeah.
we don't learn as an audience in the movie Sound of Metal, at least the Blu-ray version, in Amazon Prime, we don't learn what they're saying until he starts to learn sign language.
Yeah, which is why I'm definitely gonna rewatch this movie though, because knowing that their intention was to watch the whole thing with subtitles
I
kind
thought
of changes things
he
a
was
little
going to
too.
pull Simon Cowell Bob and be like, the only thing I didn't like about this movie was that it sucked. That's how Key and Peele's Inception. We got Bonnie in the chat. What's up, Bonnie? And just everyone saying hi to Bonnie. Okay, so what would be your score on this one? And we could keep talking about it, but
This is a 9 out of 10.
wow, I'm so excited about wanting to hear. I'm so excited. But okay, 9 out of 10. I'm really happy with that. This is like a 4-star. That's good. That's great. Okay, good. 4.5 actually. It would technically be more so. So the ending. Do you want to talk about the ending?
Yeah, let's go into
Yeah,
it.
I want to dive into it, but I'm going to put spoilers on the screen here because we're going to talk spoilers here. What I wrote down for this movie was, I love this, Tim. I love this so much. Do you remember in the center, the retreat center you talked about? I love that actor, by the way, the guy in the movie who
Paul Racy, I think
incredible.
that's his name. Yeah.
He was the standout. And Riz Ahmed is incredible in this movie, but he is so good. And Olivia Cook's really good too. Everybody gives a good performance. But he says to him, he's like, wake up at 4:30 in the morning, go sit in this room and go sit in the stillness. He says stillness. Okay, he tells him. And he brings a donut, his coffee in there, and he's writing and stuff like that. But at no point in that movie did he ever sit in stillness. In the beginning, in the retreat center, he sat in quiet. He can't hear anything. He's in a room by himself. It's a padded room, whatever. He doesn't hear anything. But he never sat in stillness. There's a difference between sitting there impatiently or anxiously sitting in stillness. And at the end of the movie, he takes the hearing aids out of his ears, and for the first time in the movie, he sits in stillness, and he sits there, and we don't hear a single thing, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It gives me goosebumps talking about it. It's beautiful hearing what he hears. There's times in my own life watching that ending of that here, and I'm like, I don't want to say I would never want to go deaf. Don't get me wrong, okay? But it's beautiful what he hears at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. It's beautiful to sit there in stillness and just be still and quiet and just listen to nothing, kind of, so to speak. And I think that's what he's trying to pound and away at him throughout the entire movie, and he doesn't get it until the very end.
Yeah. That's him finally realizing it's not a disability. He'd rather go back to how things were.
Yep. I wrote grass isn't always greener.
Yeah.
Because he thinks, Yeah.
So one of my favorite moments of the movie actually comes just minutes before the whole him taking it off. When he sees her right after the party, she's coming to bed, and he's like, "Oh, you're not scratching your arm anymore." And then it's minutes later, that they're kissing, and then that he has his arm around her, and he's talking about we'll go back and we'll go back on tour and stuff. And you see her kind of start scratching her arm a little bit, and that's when he looks at her and realizes this isn't gonna work anymore. The
Yeah.
two just aren't meant to be anymore.
I didn't even catch that, man. Didn't
Yeah.
even catch the scratch. I know she scratched her arms in the beginning. I didn't catch that about the ending of the movie.
Yep.
Something I'll pay attention to. I love that he says here it's about seeing it, not seeing it as a disability. Like you just said, he realizes it's not a disability, and I'd rather go back. Subtitles not showing until he understands sign language, can understand the frustration of not being able to hear, I wrote. I love how it goes between hearing and not throughout the course of the movie. You get parts of, in certain scenes, even it goes from hearing to not hearing. I love that.
Yeah.
The sound mixing, like you said, they've really let us as viewers know what it's like to understand what complete silence feels like. I think they do such a good job of making us feel that. I didn't expect to like this movie as much as I did. It was a blind buy from Criterion during a sale, and I freaking fell in love with it. It's a 4.5 for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It is great. To be honest, I expected to like it, so I was just happy that that was confirmed.
Yeah, I think I have this as 1, so on your list. Do you want to dive into number 1?
Yeah, let's. You could put it up because you already know what it is.
Wow, how about that? Okay, number 1. Let me get this up here, everybody. I am so excited about this one. It is Hotel Mumbai, number 1 on your list. Tim, I am excited about this.
I did not expect this. So, granted, Dollar Trees get all types of movies, and being a Dollar Tree movie isn't a knock. It just means it didn't sell well, that there's a bunch of extra copies. But I picked this up at Dollar Tree. So it's been one of those ones that's just been kind of rotting on the shelf. And if you didn't recommend it, God knows when I would have watched this. But I'm glad I did. This thing is tense the whole way.
100%.
I only passingly remember the news coverage of the actual event going on. But man, this movie was edge of your seat the entire way. And Dev Patel's performance is so good.
The directing is really excellent too. He did not get enough credit for this movie. I thought, I personally, this is in my, when I did my top 15 favorite movies of all time, this is like 13 or 14. It's easily in my top 25 of all time. And when I saw this in theaters, I had a fist clenched because this movie makes you feel a lot of it. These characters, the terrorists, you are angry watching this movie. The one complaint, this movie gets really good reviews, but one complaint from a lot of people is that it's too violent. It's a little too violent. I had this conversation with Mizzy. I think movies like this, yes, there's real families watching this movie saying, maybe they're saying, I can't watch this because this is depicting my son or my wife or husband. I don't think, based on true stories like Hotel Mumbai, should be sugar-coated or dumbed down, though. I think how violent this movie is important for us to see as viewers. That it was as violent as this. This was not.
I mean, it
was
was
a
more
very
violent,
tragic, terrible, horrifying event.
Yeah, I started reading some about what happened, and if anything, this movie isn't too violent. Like, it left out a lot. Like, the 175 people were killed during all of these attacks that went on at the same time. Not 175 in the hotel, but the movie is just about everything together and just focuses
the movie. We're 6-7 minutes into the movie when the action starts.
Yeah,
and it doesn't really let up. Like, it's tense, like you said, from start to finish. Is there nonstop action and violence? No. But there's nonstop from like 8 minutes into the movie to the very end. It is tense. As this is, to me, one of the most tense movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree.
It's in the theater, the first time watch on it was something else for me. I was blown away by this movie.
I will say so something about this movie which people might not like, but this is just my opinion. I think I've said it on other stuff. I'm not a religious person. This movie just more so reaffirms to me religion does more harm than good on a mass scale. Like when you boil it down, the events of this are religion based. It's pure
Right,
hatred.
he's Allah, in the like, yeah, they praise God every time they shoot and kill somebody almost. I mean,
Yeah,
especially at the end, yeah. So I won't dive into religion on this, but yeah, and the thing is, I've actually had conversations. So Magic Hands in the chat, not to call him out, but Mike and I have had conversations. I think Mike watched this movie. I told him to watch it, but we've had conversations about this movie, because of his religion and everything like that. And we'll have conversations about religion and the way he sees it and stuff like that. And we respect one another, so we have good conversations on that. But it is interesting to hear in things like that, like the way this movie depicts that in particular. But the funny thing is, I forgot this was on your list, and it's number one. I had a different movie on there, and so I didn't get to rewatch this today. Now I watched this less than like probably 8 months ago, but Mizzy texted me and he goes, "I just picked this up so you can put it on my list now." And it's not going on his list now, but Mizzy, you should still watch this. So, give your opinion. Let Tim and I know what you think of this movie. But I'm so glad you enjoyed this. I don't want to say enjoyed because this isn't a movie you necessarily enjoy, but I'm so glad that you thought this was as good as I thought it was, or
it's a powerful movie.
Yeah, it is. Dev Patel's performance. I love Dev Patel, though. I really do. I think he's an incredible actor. And it is heartbreaking. In this movie, I mean, it's a true story. So, like, if you're hoping every one of your favorite characters in this movie lives, I mean, the real life actor, the real.
Yeah, this movie doesn't give.
But
this movie doesn't give characters plot armor. Essentially,
no, not at all. You're gonna have some tough scenes to watch as well in this movie. I mean, like the phone call to the buildings and just blowing people. I mean, it's a pretty rough watch as far as the pretty in your face violence, but it's necessary. But the cast is incredible. I mean, you got Armie Hammer in this movie, so Derek's character, Derek, aka. But no, I love this movie. Like I said, top 15 for me. I mean, it's violent, but the action starts fast and it doesn't sugarcoat it. Like you said, no plot armor. Incredible performances. Supporting characters are really good. And there's just some really tense, heartbreaking moments as well in this movie.
I did get not a laugh, but they already stressed that the terrorists were kids. Like they were maybe 18, 19, like they were young. And they were really stupid how they kept giving commands to the people that are speaking English, and they're not comprehending that these people don't understand, but then they'll turn around and be like, I don't understand you. It's like, how stupid are you? Like, obviously they're not understanding what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, these guys are morons.
Yeah, there's certain moments, yeah, because they don't speak really a lick of English at all. So
no, none.
Yeah,
but they're giving commands as they're putting guns to people's backs and telling them where to go. These people that they're doing that to have no idea what they're saying.
Yeah,
but they're too stupid to realize that.
Yep, 100%. Okay. Well, did you have anything else you wanted to say about this one?
No, I thought it was a great movie. It's a 9 out of 10 as well.
Okay, I'm glad. Excellent choice. Magic Hand says excellent choice for number one. Have you seen Munich? I have not. Jason Isaacs was great as well. Yeah, he's really good in it too. I really liked him.
He comes across as kind of a dick early on, but he gets to be a character you like.
Really like, yeah. Love Hotel Mumbai. Man, there's just this movie. I get goosebumps talking about it because it is intense. Movies like Hotel Mumbai and No Escape.
No Escape is so good.
No Escape is, we were talking about that earlier, but No Escape is just like Hotel Mumbai. It is very similar. I mean, but not a true story. I myself have a walking disability, and I have to say I can relate to every person that had gone through that. but you get back up and keep moving forward. True story about my life. I'm very open to it. Appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
Talking about Sound of Metal, by the way. Yep. Got that one out of that. Jason Isaacs. Why am I not just now noticing Tim sipping his tea out of a jug like some homeless bum? I noticed it too. I didn't say anything. Okay. All right. So you gave your 10 right there. Can you give April's 10?
Well, what's funny is she's not doing this just to do it. She gave the same, besides Disconnect is above Smashed.
Okay, so it's really close.
It's almost the same thing.
Okay, so I'll tell my bye. All right, well, you're gonna laugh. And April, don't hate me, please. But my prediction for you was number 10, Scenic Route. Number 9, Swimfan. Number 8, Monkey Business. 7, 10-inch Hero. 6, Hotel Mumbai.
Oh, damn.
5, Words on Bathroom Walls. 4, Disconnect. 3, Smashed. 2, Sleepers. 1, Sound of Metal. And for April, once again, please don't get mad. Number 10, April, I had you with Scenic Route as well. Number 9, Monkey Business. Number 8, Hotel Mumbai for you, April. Number 7, Sleepers. Number 6, Swimfan. Number 5, Disconnect. Number 4, Smashed. Number 3, Sound of Metal. 2, Words on Bathroom Walls. April, I thought your number 1 would be 10-inch Hero.
No way.
Sorry, April. I wish April was in the chat to bring me a new one. LOL, Bonnie saying, yeah. Yeah, sorry, April. I apologize. What did you think my ranking would be?
Well, I didn't actually write that down, to be honest.
Oh, what the heck? You sound like Tony now. I'll give you a moment to think about it. Here, April's in the chat. Yeah, hurry up and start thinking. You Bob, laugh aloud, but heck no, the 10-inch Hero. When Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in Tim's list, I'm there.
I actually, to be honest, I thought you would think 10-inch Hero would be lower. I'm surprised you thought I would like it more. I when I said that in the voice message earlier, I thought you'd put 10-inch Hero at the bottom of the list.
Okay. You did?
I did, because I thought you would.
So anybody who's watching this, if you're on future stream, there's 2 things that's always going to happen. Rank mine, I'll rank yours. Rank yours, you rank mine. There's always 2 little things that you're going to do. So you and Tony, I'm going to spank you both.
Yeah.
Okay, my ranking, number 10 would be Monkey Business. Liked it, and once again, that's a 3.5. Like my list, once just like you're like, my number 10 is high on my list. Like it's a movie I really liked. It's just that I liked all these movies a lot. 10 is Monkey Business, 9 is Swimfan, 8 is Scenic Route, 7 Sleepers, 6 10-inch Hero, 5 Words on Bathroom Walls, 4 would be Sound of Metal, and I love that movie. 3 would be Smashed. 2 would be Hotel Mumbai. 1 is Disconnect.
I knew Disconnect.
Yeah, and Hotel Mumbai, it's right there with it. So that's mine. Let me get to anything else. Okay. Would you recommend this list?
I would, because there's movies on here I didn't like.
I've never once said no either to that question. Yeah, exactly. Would you buy these? Some of them?
Of the stuff I do not own, no, because I own Hotel Mumbai, I own Sound of Metal, I guess I own Monkey Business. I own Words on Bathroom Walls, I own Scenic Route, Sleepers. So the only stuff I don't own is Smash, Disconnect. I own Swimfan.
You wouldn't buy those, yeah.
No, and I wouldn't buy 10-inch Hero. So there's only 3 on the list I don't own, and they're not ones I'd purchase.
Right, which is good. What would you rate this list overall? Just out of 5 stars, what would you give it?
Oh, why'd you give me 5 out of 5 stars? I'll a 3.5.
I'll take that all day. 3.5 is high. I will take that all day, every day, twice on Sundays. Thank you. I'll take that. That's okay. So overall, though, you don't think...
I'm happy I saw stuff. Like, I'm happy after how much you talked about Disconnect. I'm happy I saw it. I'm happy I finally got to see Swimfan. I'm happy I finally watched Sleepers and Scenic. Like I'm not, even the stuff I didn't like, I'm not disappointed. Besides, I wish I could wipe 10-inch Hero out of my mind. But past that,
so outside of that, like you're okay. Okay, I'll take that. I'm happy, and I'm really happy about the top two. Like at the end of the day, when I do these lists, I mean, so far out of every list I've ever done, I've given a 4 stars to every single person's list. Like at least one movie on their list has gotten a 4 or higher, which for me, a 4 stars means I really loved the movie. Like I loved it. That is in that category. So nobody has given me something under that, you know. But yeah, okay, all right, I like that. And I told you today I'm going to do something fun with this list when I'm done, and I'm almost done with 10 different lists now. I've got Mizzy's coming up, and then I got Ashley's coming up, Zombie Girl, in a couple weeks. I think that'll be like 9 different watch lists I do. And when I finish a 10th, what I plan on doing is doing either a video or a live stream for it, where I go over my top 10 out of the 100, and then I go over my least favorite 10. And then I also rank the list in order from 10 to 1. So I think that would be a lot of fun. And then also tell people how many stars I gave overall, like if I added up all the stars. I think that would be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm sure some people are like, I just hope I don't make the bottom 10. So we'll see. But yeah, I hope you had fun today. This was like 2 hours. So this was I was on the different end of this for sure. Which is funny because early in the stream, I was like, no. And you, when we did it, you early on too. And then you stopped doing it because you're like, you know, if they liked number 4 and 3, you're going to be happy about it. So there's a lot less pain in the other person, I guess. But yeah, okay. So I'm happy. And did you end up getting another 10 you wanted to backstage, not live, but
yeah,
did you?
Yeah, I've got stuff we'll go over.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So he's going to give me another.
Disconnect is my Dunkirk. Just remember that, because that's like one of my. No, what I'm saying is you despise Dunkirk. And
no, I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You, damn, that's harsh. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna go all over the spectrum on my list for you, Bob. I've been waiting for a list from you for a year. I won't hold my breath, Johnny. Someone got close though. April slap him, Mama Blu-ray says. Yeah, and yeah, I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead too. Okay, well, that's everything for tonight. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's everything. Did you want to talk about anything you got coming up on your channel? I know you've been making some changes, and you just made a new logo and everything. Did you want to talk about anything? I'll give you the floor right here and put you.
I mean, I don't know what I have to. We're redoing the movie room, and there's movies all over the place because, God, I don't know. I can't spin it. You know what? Screw it. I can. Let me disconnect this. But that wall right there is going to be new shelving, as is everywhere else. So I am very, very excited for that. It's going to be a whole new movie room. I'm going to have videos again in June. So I shall be back. Yay.
Awesome. All right. Okay. And for me, I got Johnny's Hall of Fame stream tomorrow. So if you're still watching right now, go check out that Hall of Fame stream tomorrow. Make sure to catch it live. That'll be a fun one. And then, I mean, I got game nights planned. I got Hot Potato coming up, and Tim, you're going to be co-hosting that one with me. So that'll be fun. Yes. You asked me if I wanted to play, and I was like, I don't know that I could play because I would be backstage on my own channel a lot, and that could be a little weird. Iron Shack says, fun stream, Tim and Bob. Great chat, guys. Thank you. We got Happy Optimist saying Dallas is losing. Dang it. We got Deadly Spooky in the chat saying, what's up, Bob and Timmy? What's up, Deadly Spooky? Endo Juggalo says, yay, Johnny Hall of Fame, baby. Yay, the return of Tim. Yep. So yeah, thanks for coming on, man. I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream, and we could chat backstage, and I'll create a new list of 10.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Well, everyone, have a good night. Thank you again, Tim, and everyone in the chat for hanging out. I appreciate it.